Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dan, the voice behind ThatKaitoDan, and I'm here to discuss some big news regarding RWBY and the voice behind Qrow. So last night, Kerry, one of the principal faces of course behind RWBY, put out an article related to several topics, mostly regarding RTX, which is happening this weekend, and the RWBY panel at the event, but also some big developments regarding Qrow's new voice actor. I'm just gonna go straight into it and I'm gonna read off from this article, so let's have a look at it. So, yo, RTX is this week and I'm freaking out in a good way. RWBY 7 is going really well. I'll talk more about it at the panel, Friday, 1 PM, Hall 1 at the ACC, but we're off to a really strong start this year. We're changing some things up in some really positive ways, and I think it's already showing some great results. I promise to give more details at RTX, sorry to tease, which already, hey, I'm all for good positive news coming out from Volume 7 already. And speaking of RTX, I also wanted to confirm that we are planning to upload the panel afterwards on roosterteeth.com. Yeah, this is in regards to the fact that unfortunately Rooster Teeth wasn't able to get a streaming partner for RTX this year. Usually they are able to stream and show off all the panels at the event, but since they haven't got a streaming partner this year, they've only been able to host some of the main show panels on their main site, and obviously this means that some panels are not going to be able to be streamed. They will be recorded, as it mentions here, with the RWBY panel being one of them, and it's good to hear that they will be uploaded onto the site afterwards for those of us like myself who are unfortunately not going to be able to go to the event. Kerry continues on by saying, so even if you aren't there with us in person, you'll still be able to check it out, and you're going to want to check it out because we might be showing new things and talking about cool new stuff like maybe some games and books. Oh boy, it'll be great. I'll also post a journal talking about some of the biggest announcements after the panel so you can read it straight from the horse's mouth. I am the horse. Again, yeah, good to hear that we're getting the panel, obviously for folks like myself who can't go, and I will be doing a update video myself with all the information that is released from the event and from the stuff that's been mentioned, so be on the lookout for that, and of course Kerry's follow-up article. Speaking of articles, carrying on with this one, we're also going to be changing up how we're doing questions this year. Over the years we've gotten feedback about the Q&A portion and how it's been done. Sometimes it's the same question over and over again, or long stories which are cool, don't get me wrong, or questions about ships and the show, etc. But these can slow down the panel and not allow us to get to as many people or questions as we want to. With this new method, I honestly think it will work out a lot better and we'll be able to answer a lot more questions in a fun and meaningful way. We plan on taking on a whole variety of topics, so if you're coming, don't be afraid to write down whatever you want. Good to hear, because it's kind of been a bit of a common complaint from mostly the RWBY fandom that the Q&A segments have been mixed at best. Obviously, there are certain topics this year that Rooster Teeth will obviously want to be able to handle in the best way that they can. Obviously I'm talking about the Vic Mignogna situation, the Crunch situation, and also some fandom related complaints regarding some of the stuff on the most recent volume. So obviously it's good that Rooster Teeth are going to try and handle it in their way, instead of whatever's being thrusted upon them out of the blue when they're not being able to prepare. That's the best way to handle such topics in a way that will give a stable and solid answer for those who are curious, and obviously discuss some major topics in the most professional way that a company should. And beyond that, there's a couple of times where past Q&A sessions have been very cringy, or they've led to some obvious questions being given obvious answers. So this will help streamline things in a much easier way, and we'll get to, as they say, more questions and some more interesting topics, so Q&A segments will actually feel a bit more fresh this year. And if you're wondering how you can put in the questions this year, Kerry mentions that with the RTX app, a few hours before the panel goes on, they will push notify a Q&A form. You fill in that, and then you can see if your question gets answered at the panel. So hopefully if you guys want to get your questions in, be sure to give that a shot, and hopefully everyone has a good time at the panel. But now let's get into the big topic of this video, in regards to finally getting the reveal of Qrow Branwen's new voice actor. So obviously the situation regarding Vic Mignogna has meant that we need a new voice for Qrow. And it has been a bit of a hot topic in many ways, but obviously in regards to people speculating who will be the new voice. And I'm surprised that we're getting this now and not at RTX, but obviously I think this is a good way to get out in the open straight away and not thrust this decision onto the fans at the event. So Kerry reveals one more thing that's obviously had a lot of conversation around it, is who will be voicing Qrow. 2019 has been a wild year for me as I grow and develop my role and responsibilities as a creator, and for my own mental sanity, I'm choosing to move forward on a lot of these topics in a positive light. To that end, I can't think of anything more positive than to have Jason Liebrecht voice Qrow Branwen. We're incredibly excited to be working with him, and he's already doing an amazing job. Please welcome him and send him some love. Alright, I'm gonna get back to work. Thanks for reading. See you at RTX. Kerry. So there you have it. The new voice for Qrow Branwen moving forward is Jason Liebrecht. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the guy's roles, I got a list of some of them here. He is the voice of Champa from Dragon Ball Super. He is also the voice behind Mordecai from the Borderlands series. I know a lot of people were excited about that. He's also the voice of Darby from My Hero Academia, which I really love, and that's a fantastic role of his. He's also the voice of Yato from Noragami, and the voice of Sharon Lee from Cardcaptor Sakura and Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle. He's also been in Attack on Titan, One Piece, some other roles. He's got a huge lineup of voice roles under his belt. He's also been in Street Fighter as well, and this isn't actually his first time working with Rooster Teeth, as he played a small role in Rooster Teeth's live action series Day 5, which, that's pretty cool. He's got a nice little bit of history there. So yeah, Jason is the new voice, and I am very pleased with that. I think he's got a very good flexibility with his voice, and if you want to get a good vibe of what I imagine his voice for Qrow is going to be, I would have a listen to his performance as Darby and also Mordecai for that kind of rugged gruffness to him, but at a bit of a lighter tone than what we're used to Qrow. Maybe that will be a similar voice that we will have for Qrow, but we'll have to wait and see. And obviously, this is going to be a revelation that's going to have some mixed reception from certain fans, which to an extent I completely understand with. Obviously, when you are comfortable and you've had an experience listening to an established role, and then there's a situation that requires a different voice, there are going to be some whiplash effects. For one, I can think of off the top of my head, Lloyd Irving from the Tales of series. Beforehand, he was voiced by Scott Menville, who you may know as Robin from Teen Titans. But in the sequel to Tales of Symphonia, he was voiced by Brian B. Kirk. And that was a very strange situation there. The voice was a very awkward situation to get used to, and there were some grievances about the voice change in the first place, which isn't a knock on Brian himself, but that's just an example I'm bringing up. And obviously, in regards to the whole Vic Mignogna situation, no matter what side of the debate you are on in regards to the allegations made towards him, you have to understand that there needs to be a voice for Qrow. And with Vic not being able to be him, anyone is a fitting role, a fitting talent to bring in if the RWBY, if Kerry, Miles, and if they feel that this is the right voice to have for him moving forward, then you have to at least respect that. You can obviously feel like maybe Vic was a stronger performance. Obviously, we haven't heard Jason yet, so you can't fairly judge his performance yet. But I think no matter where you stand on the whole Vic situation, whether you're stand with Vic or kick Vic or whatever, I hope you at least respectfully give Jason the time that he needs to get used to the role. Obviously, this isn't the first time that a RWBY character has had a new voice given to him. Obviously, we had Mercury Black, who was originally voiced by JJ Castillo, who was then replaced by Yuri Lowenthal. And obviously, for some tragic reasons, the voice of Ren had to be changed from Monty following his passing to his brother Neef. And there was that kind of wiggle room period where we had to get used to a different voice that we were accustomed to by then. But at the same time, they have grown, both of them, as the performance of that role, and they've done fantastically with them since they took over. And I feel that would definitely be the same for Jason as well. And again, no matter what side of the Vic situation that you were on, please don't go and attack Jason just for doing his job. Again, there had to be a voice for Qrow, and anyone could have been the new voice. And it's unfair for you to attack Jason just for doing his job. You shouldn't be doing that for any kind of situation like that, just because there needs to be a voice. And if you attack someone just for replacing anyone, that's unfair, it's unjustified, and it's very immature. Again, you are fair to feel that you will prefer Vic over Jason in the end. Obviously, once we hear Jason as Qrow, that's your fair take on it. People have different opinions on the performances of a character, but at least please be respectful and mindful to Jason himself as a person and not attack him just for doing his job. And obviously, please don't attack each other about this. I'm sure some people will, but please just don't go gaga over a voice like this. Please don't go to arms over the voice of a fictional character. It's not worth getting heated over, please. But either way, me personally, I am very excited to hear Jason's performance. Again, I think he is a fantastic fill-in. In fact, I think he's a fantastic voice to have on the cast in any aspect, let alone as a replacement for someone else. And I can't wait to hear what he's like as Qrow, especially with some very exciting times for the character now that Volume 6 shows that he's had to make some very personal developments and go through some emotional hurdles. And I'm glad that we've got this addressed as early as we have, and again, I just can't wait to hear how he does as one of the most fan favorite characters of the series. And again, please be respectful, please be mindful of the people that you are discussing this with, and please don't attack Jason. And also, before I forget, Jason himself put out a tweet sharing his thanks and feelings about taking on the role. Let me just get to it here. Truly honoured to be given the opportunity and stoked to be a part of the RWBY family, and don't worry, I promise to handle Qrow thoughtfully and collaborate with appropriate intensity, pathos and depth. Thanks so much, Rooster Teeth, and thanks for the kind words, you guys. So there, he's very understand that he's taken on a very deep and emotional character. He's also he's aware of the situation regarding the fact that he has to take over as Qrow. And again, massive respect to for his past work. I hope he does a fantastic role, and all the best to him. Congratulations on the role, and all the best moving forward. So yeah, I think that's all the things I need to talk about covered. Again, please discuss this respectfully, not just in my comments, but elsewhere as well, and please don't go attacking Jason just for doing his job. But yeah, again, leave your feelings on this in the comments down below. If you do start attacking people, I'm gonna have to moderate that, just because I don't want that on my video, or I don't want that at all. And while you're also down there leaving your thoughts on this, and everything else, be sure to hit the subscribe and bell buttons to get every new video from me as they drop, especially with RTX coming up, and again, I will be doing an update video in regards to all the information shown off there. And you can also follow me on Twitter at ThatKaitoDan for more on anything to do with RWBY, updates on future content, and more. But until next time, have a good day or good night, and peace out.